Hello everyone and welcome to a new devlog. And this week I'm going to be working on the guard and the melee attacks from the player, because now there's just a gun. But I want a melee attack. As you can see, this is Audacity, this isn't Unity. So what I'm going to be doing for the first time, well actually the second time, I'm going to do some voice acting, I guess, or at least making some sound effects for my guards when they try to hit a player. Okay, I recorded this, but I was hitting my hand and grunting, and I think that doesn't work, so I'm just going to do the grunting. So, ciao. The guards have their attack sound? But now the player has to have a feedback, because now it doesn't get hit. Like the health goes down, yeah, but there's no screen shake or like any movement in the player. So let's add that. The thing with game development is, well, what I experience is that I want to add this. For example, I want to add sounds. Okay, that's fun to do, but then I also want to add an animation. So I start doing that, but then I go down a rabbit hole, and then instead of continuing what I was actually doing, I go down the rabbit hole and do different things. So I really have to get back and ignore the animation and the player hitting. So what I have now is that the guard makes a sound and the player gets hit. But I wanted to add an animation, but that's not on the schedule today. So what I actually want to add is a melee weapon, because this weapon should only be obtainable by killing guards or from the shop. So let's work on melee weapons and then being able to switch between a gun and a melee weapon. You can now pick up a gun and then switch to your fist. I don't know why it's so tiny right now. And also I want the fist to always be equipable, so even if you haven't picked up the gun, of course you need a fist to fight off the enemies. So I'm gonna work on it now. And also one thing I have to add is that if you shoot and you reload, and while you are reloading, you switch your weapons, the gun kinda breaks. If I load into a new game and I pick up the gun, and I shoot and I press escape, or I reload and I press escape, it still works, because the problem I'm doing, or the thing I'm doing with when you're pausing it, is then you stop the coroutine. Let me do an actual proper explanation. So what I normally do is that you start the reload here, and this is the game updates the whole time. You start the reload, and then when you press pause, it just stops whatever is going on here. So then when you unpause, you can't go back because you never told it to go back. And what you want is that you have the whole line. You say, okay, I want to pause here. Then you would pause it, but then before you pause it, it says, oh, you were here. So then when you unpause it, you either cancel it, you go back, or you continue to reload. And this is the part that breaks if you don't tell it to do that. So then it has to listen in real time instead of breaking, which is better, of course. After picking up the gun, you can switch to the gun. Oh, you can melee attack. You can press the melee button, and if I find this guy and I hit him, he takes damage. Kinda hard to hit, but you can see the blood's coming off him. And he dies. He drops the money. I can pick it up, and I can buy something from the shop. The problem I have is now that when you punch one of the guards, sometimes it doesn't really register, like, because the hitbox is not that big, and I think you wanna make the player feel a little more like stronger instead of so weak. So I need to tweak that a little. I could change this in a few ways. If you look on the left side, you can see the green line, and if I hit something, and in the moment when I hit it, the enemy's in the green line, then it counts as a hit. But what I could change is that either the little line, of course, gets way wider, gets further away, or that the window where you can hit something gets bigger, because now it's just when I click, and it's like within a few milliseconds you have to hit something. So I should broaden that window so you have a bigger time. So if you walk and then hit it, or you walk and go away, you should hit it. And maybe make the ray cast a little bigger. So let me try that, and then maybe that will work. I also thought it was going to be a good thing to add a damage indicator if the player gets hit, but I only had one image that was already loaded in. So look, it's an apple. Of course, it has to be like a blood splatter or like something on the screen that tells you you get hit, because you also have the audio feedback and the visual. And maybe I also want to move the screen a little, like tilt it a little, but otherwise it could also be too much. So I think if you get hit and it shows an image on the screen, of course not an apple, then it's also good. I've adjusted the POV, and that's why the sprite looks so weird, but I've changed the guard AI to work way better. I'll explain it in a bit, but first I'll show you. You can see that they now chase, and this guy stays on me, and I have to kill him, and then this guy comes back to me, kill this guy, and then I can find a different guard in the prison. What this AI kind of does is that using the nav mesh I provided, which gets generated every time the prison gets made, it patrols randomly throughout it. Then if a guard detects a player in a certain vision cone, then it will detect them. And if the player is very close, the guard will also see it. And if the player is seen, the guard chases them around, and then it tries to attack until the player is dead or that the guard is dead. And every time it attacks, it stops a little, then it goes to the side or it goes forward. It's a little random. And then if you run away and you get out of vision, it will look around the area and then it will just go through the patrol area again because eventually you'll still have to kill it for the money. This kind of makes it feel like a guard is smart and reactive so that it fits in this type of game. For now I'm gonna quit. Well, actually for today. I'm gonna continue tomorrow or the day after, and I want to work on the starter items and the items you can buy in the shop in the actual prison. So yeah, I'm gonna work on those, and then I'll see you in the next clip. This is a little update on the menu screen, and this is because I'm gonna send the playtest next week or this week to some friends, and maybe in this video I'll see how it goes. And then if you press this button here, it brings you to the forum where you can give like bugs or any tips or whatever. But if you press a new game, there's now 3 items. Cash, it starts with some extra money. So in game, if you start, you get 5 extra dollars. And with this one, some nice candy, and it makes you 25% faster in game. I'll show you. You're just a little faster to get around, maybe to dodge the guards or whatever. I'm gonna change these items up as well because the starter items are totally different, and these items should be able to be bought in games to help you in your progress. One thing I added, I think, which is pretty cool because now you have the melee, but no range yet, that you have this brick you can pick up. So you press E to pick it up. Then on the top left, now there's a can of beans, but there would be a brick icon, and if you press G, you throw the brick. And that would damage the guards or stun them a little. I'm not quite sure on that, but I think now with the fist, that's pretty good. And those bricks will respawn throughout the map, like in here or in the corners, just randomly throughout the map. I've had some finishing touches to the brick, and I think it looks pretty good now. Just a random brick laying on the floor. You can pick it up. Oh, yes, you can. And then on the top left, it also shows it. I guess I want one more. Sometimes it's a little weird. I wonder why that is. Okay, but it works. You can throw it, and then it despawns after a little bit. Now that the brick is done, let's finish the shop, and then I can get the video out, and then maybe I'll send the playtest to my friends. The shop items are done for now. If you take a look, there's 2 of these items, and there's another 2. You can buy some candy, it gives you a little speed boost, and a brick, the same as if you would find on the floor. And you also have different items. This med kit, which heals you a little. There's also this brass knuckle, and it gives you more melee attack damage. With those 4 items, I think I'm gonna give this exe file, or I don't know how I'm gonna share it to my friends, and I'm gonna test it for the movement, the visuals, the audio, not so much the gameplay, because for my school project I'm already happy with how it is right now. Of course, it would be nice to have a playable game for a MVP, like a minimal viable product, as a pre-alpha. So I'm gonna round it up. Thank you for watching, and have a good one. I'll share the results next week.